in there, and going to be eating a couple traps. I'm going to take some look here at the items as we pull it up. Artemis looks like has finished her boots. Sun Wukong has finished his and is also now starting a Void Blade. So we'll be going a little bit of that pen but armor hybrid there just for the beginning. I'm sure he wants a little bit of survivability to give himself a little bit more presence in those team fights. And other than that, I'm not seeing anything absolutely massive as far as pickups. But with the gold being so close, you know, we're not going to be seeing anything absolutely huge here. Might have a little bit of action here in the middle. There is the ultimate coming out. Ao Kwong able to juke that a little bit. Jukes the Ra ult. Great play there from the best to stay alive.
Yeah, really tricky to hit the Ao Kwong with a Ra ult, certainly when he has the sprint and his slither activated. A lot of run speed there. Right side lane looks like we do have some initiation. The Odin has taken quite a bit of damage. Pon diving into him, but you know, really you can see that that trade is still in the favor of Odin. Odin eventually will need to build a little bit more support items. I imagine we'll see him go into, you know, an aura-based item. But Wukong is actually going to get a flank here onto Pon. There's the over smash. You can hit for free. The teleport out. Last is going to follow up with a leap, which is not going to be enough. Pon immediately pops a sprint, knowing he was in a lot of trouble there, and does get out unscathed. But, you know, they do force some cooldowns on him.
I thought for sure that Guan Yu was going to end up ulting as his leap was down as he tried to chase the Thor, but not going to follow it up. Maybe Thor was just a little bit too far out of position as both players do go back now. And as you said before, we are definitely into that laning phase going back. Saw some really good early action, but now it just seems to be a bit of a push match here in the mid, and both side lanes now are trying to farm up as best as they can. Thor and Hercules there on the right lane are pushing it, and now they're going to go back after the push has gone through. And so it looks like these teams are going to be playing it a little bit safe, just trying to get what they can, and you know, just waiting for that lucky break, I think, for either a good flank like Wukong tried, or maybe they're waiting for the middle to try to get a kill and really take things to that next level. I'm not sure, you know, what the strategy is right now. Obviously focusing on getting those ADs up.
Well, you know, you can see the Doom Orb on the Ra there, you know, and he's 1-0 up against Best, so does have that advantage. He's actually, in fact, up some gold as well, which is, in general, not a position you see Jody in. Artemis in a lot of trouble here on this left side lane. Going to be forced to boar here. The bees are used by Zatman trying to clean it up, but it's not going to be in time. And now that boar, of course, has de-engaged, but Ao Kwong has rotated over here, as has Sobek. They're going to run into each other in the jungle here. Best going to fall back as Lassus is going to zone him out nicely there. But in general, Jerby is not the type of player that gets a massive advantage in the mid lane. He tends to really rely on his rotation a lot, which of course puts him behind a bit. But here with the Doom Orb, I expect him to sit here pretty passively in this lane and farm up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you don't want to lose those stacks. That really can be what ends up swinging the next team fight, so that is very wise. We're starting to have a little bit of a ward battle as Sobek was putting him by the Gold Fury. The blue team having 3 wards currently around that Gold Fury, so my guess is that we should be seeing some action there. Usually right around the 10-minute mark is when we start seeing people get very interested in there. Artemis is going to be picking up this blue buff. Oh no, she doesn't go, which I think was smart, because that, I don't know if they knew that ward was there, and that really could have been dangerous. She might be setting up this flank here. Is she going to be able to get the slow? Just misses on her, able to leap out, and it isn't going to be any danger there. So are going to be feeling each other out a bit. Red also has a few wards around the Gold Fury, so we'll see if someone starts making a move here or not, as AK looks like he might be going over to gank. No, it looks like he's just going to turn back and go for that red buff. So again, just really focusing on farming. Odin and Wukong in the base, or in their lane 2, doing a little bit of farming. We'll see if they end up going for an engage. Guan Yu is coming up very far, is going to use the Talu Assault. Is Odin going to go for the slow? Nope, they just decide to fall back, and I could really see an engagement here coming very soon. Both of these teams looking like they want to get aggressive, and unfortunately Wukong's 3 misses there, so they are going to fall back.
We're going to have a rotation over towards the mid. Artemis and Sobek are making their way there now. It's going to be for the red buff. You know, and this is a strategy we've really seen the teams pick up recently, is really prioritizing the red buff. You can see Zatman, in fact, smelling out the timing, going to go over there and try to challenge it. Would not have been terribly surprised to see him try to ult through the wall there, but, you know, not in the perfect position to do so. So, yeah, unfortunately, they're going to get counter-warded out the Gold Fury. But another thing to note is we are going to have a Warlock Sash rank 1 coming out right away on Ao Kwong after that Vampiric Shroud, which, you know, basically is indicative of, you know, more passive play here in the mid lane. He's going to try to build that up. It's a very expensive item, certainly the Warlock Sash, and he'll need quite a bit of farm to get there. And you know, and honestly, Ao Kwong's perfectly happy to sit in this mid lane and farm up against the Ra. He's not in a tremendous amount of danger at any point, except for from ganks. And as you see, Lass is coming in, putting in some damage, but nothing really too much to worry about.
Yeah, he was able to fall back, was already on the tower. I think he's just trying to scare him, keep him honest. It looked like Odin might be rotating over, but he's going back in the lane. However, it looks like Thor might be rotating, and maybe he can set something up with his ultimate. He's got such a long range of influence with that ultimate. As we are about to have 3 players come over into this side lane, it definitely looks like they're going to want to set up this gank. As Sobek does see it coming, he's going to dash out. Artemis, oh, barely gets out of there. That was so close. So Hercules not able to get that flip, and it looks like they will be pushing this tower. And if they can get this tower, this might be able to open up a few more lanes for ganks. This will be interesting to see how they respond here, as the pressure is being put on by Curse.
The chat is requesting player names and the item scoreboard.
Oh, they like the item scoreboard? All right.
Well, they like it up for except for doing engagements is what I say.
Okay, and I will put player names on my fault there. Let's see. That's in UI, right?
You can just hit O.
Oh, I can just hit O? Boom, I'll do that. Perfect. Oh, actually, the ultimate coming out here, it actually took everything away. I will bring that back in just a second. There we go. And Hercules is going to be able to get out. It looks like there is a bit of a chase. Thor going to get that stun, though. Flipped immediately. The ultimate coming out from Hercules going to do a bit of damage. And trying so desperately to chase down on her. He is taken out. The AK ult just barely missing. Thor now setting his eyes. Oh, great tornado stun combo. He's going to be able to leap away, though. Thor is following it up, though. The raw heal coming out. The ultimate and beam not enough to dissuade this Thor. Thor trying to chase desperately. Going to get the spin to win. Does he hit the trap? He doesn't quite yet. The overhand smash doing a bit, trying so desperately to stay alive, able to juke it. Jukes another spell, leaps away, the hammer's not up. There's the stun, the beam coming out. He's going to get out of there. What an amazing play from Wukong.
Individual play, so strong. Definitely the strongest part of Lassus' game, certainly, is just his individual skill. It just immense there, but also wanted to highlight Alquang. The rotation of best really, really strong. Actually got the ult to hit Artemis, and then 1 crit came out from Thor to clean her up. So really nice combination there as well, and honestly that could have gone much, much worse, certainly for both teams. In fact, we could have seen a 3-for-3 or 4-for-4 trade, or sorry, 3-for-3 trade in that engagement there. My goodness, but yeah, big ups to Lassus there. That was some just really stupid play. I mean, just playing really out of his mind there to avoid all of that damage. I think he avoided ultimately 3 spells firing off as well as some auto attacks.
I really wish we could have had the Benny Hill music playing for that, because that was absolutely fantastic. That was, yeah, I mean, you said it, man, an amazing play. And it can really be damaging when your AD gets taken out like that and really slows him down. Able to come right back in, and he's already going back to lane, going to be doing some farming, as Guan Yu trying to do a little bit of zoning, but he isn't doing too much. Artemis picking up a kill in the other lane. Sorry, I just missed that onto on her. Looks like it was a 1v1.
It was just a man up. They both just sat there and tried to man up. Shing avoided a good bit of that ultimate there with some nice side strafing, and put out the damage. The Artemis is so strong and got some, basically her crit rate is very, very high, the highest at the base certainly, and does have her passive, of course, to help her out as well. And, got a couple of crits out, and Zatman, did not accurately judge how much damage she was going to do. We are going to have a bit of an engagement here over at the red buff on the right side of the map here. Odin trying to get in there. Jerby is going to get ringed in with the Odin on top of Pond. Pond going to go down to that ultimate. Great play there by Root, in fact, to pick that up. Not the easiest god in the world to kill there, of course, is the Thor. We're going to have an ultimate force by Guan Yu, and he's going to dash out of the damage from Sobek there. But we are going to have a rotation now from Hercules as well to the mid lane to try to hold, as Artemis will continue to farm this left side lane. It's good news for Root. If she can get her farm up, they have equalized here in kills and are just a bit behind in gold as well. But now they've all 5 gathered here around the mid lane. We may see a push, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. Looks like Wukong is going to go back. Sobek starting his TP back, and all the recalls going out leads me to believe that it's going to go back to a little bit of a farming phase. Sobek looks like actually he stopped his and going to be doing some counter warding maybe. Yeah, it looks like he put a ward at Gold Fury. They definitely want to keep that honest, as it looks like that was counter warded immediately by On Her. Yes, it was, as there is that red ward down there, and On Her coming back over to lane as it's pushed. Artemis going to be falling back. I really expect there to be a Gold Fury fight here very soon.
Yeah, you would expect it here in the next couple of minutes, certainly. But it doesn't look like it's going to be just this moment. Ally throwing out some wards, of course. Hercules and Alquang rotating to answer here and probably put out some counter wards as well, as both teams know the score at this point. Best is going to get that counter ward at the Fury, but they don't pick up this one over here, just adjacent to the cooldown reduction buff. In the left side lane, you have Zatman farming up right side lane Lassus, so nothing really too non-characteristic there. Shing going to go back to this left side lane now and pick up his farm as well. Zatman recalls He's got that Executioner already finished. We have a couple Hide and Anemia lines coming out here, also onto Curse, with really no defensive items picked up so far over on Root.
Yeah, this is definitely interesting. I'm surprised to see 2, but obviously these guys are top edge players. You know, they know what to get and when to get it. So definitely not going to question that. But looks like we are going to have the Executioner finally finish, which you had said. And, you know, I'm really expecting this Ra to start taking off here, as I'm pretty sure he's close to max stacks. He's got to be. And so should be dealing just so much damage when they get into those team fights.
Yeah, I mean, those high enemy lines are going to make it very, very difficult for Odin to deal his damage. Odin, Artemis, Wukong, all, of course, damage dealers. You know, as I said, I expect Odin to only pick up these Warrior Tabi and then start moving perhaps into a bit more defense-oriented items there. We do have a kill coming out over in the right side lane between the Thor, Guan Yu, and Hercules to pick up Lassus. It looks like they want a tower dive allied here as well. The Spin to Win is out, dealing a lot of damage. Telusol as well is going to debuff that protection. He's going to use the H-Amulet to wipe those debuff stacks to push out from Sparks. Now, the dash in by Shadow Q as well. Ally doing a nice job kiting this. He's going to leap back into tower range. They're not sure if they can continue engaging. Pawn is going to Aegis that ultimate from Jerby. They're forced to do so. Allied still kiting. Hercules still diving. Gonna get hit by Jerby now. Fortunate for him, that's not the old Ra. That would have multi-hit, dealing quite a bit of damage. Shadow Q gonna put that Tower Assault out on a Jerby. Gonna avoid the blind briefly. They're rotating over now. Is Sobek. He's gonna use a girdle, but he's gonna miss the pick. Gonna start channeling his ultimate, but gonna get blocked very, very nicely there by Pawn, who's gonna teleport out there with that Mjolnir's Attunement. The rotation for Best is good so far to save his buddy there of Pon Pon. The damage coming out on the Jerby now. I don't think they can follow this up. Sparks not in range. The rotation from Honor a bit late. But still a very strong positioning for Curse, and they've certainly won this engagement.
Yeah, that was really intense. Odin lived there much longer than he should have, and that really allowed his team to rotate over and give them the support that was needed. On her going to push and fall back. Hercules falling back. Almost everybody is either fallen back or died trying to heal up after this, as it is 6-8. The goal differential about 2K, which is still pretty good at about this time. And while we have a break, I'm going to try to go into my UI settings, because I want to get those player names up there for the viewers. As when I hit O, it took it down, but it did not.
O brings up the player cards. Yeah, you have to change it between being the god names and the player names. If you, I didn't realize you didn't have that toggled.
Yeah, so just trying to find out where that is real quick, and then I can. Man, unfortunately, I do not know where I changed that.
UI, I believe.
Show god names. Maybe that's
show
what
god
I did
names
there.
toggle. Just untoggle that.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, now I got the player name, so my apologies there to the viewers.
We are also asking you to increase the UI size, this UI scaling for the minimap.
Okay, I can do that, no problem. Let me do that real quick for you guys. Alright, go up a little bit, and minimap up a little bit. And hopefully it's not colliding with any of that other stuff now. But, yeah, no problem, guys. You know, part of IGL is what we've been saying is we want to give the viewers what they want. You know, it's not just about you elevating your game, but hopefully we will, too, through the process. So anytime you guys are saying, hey, you know, we want this, this is going to increase our viewer experience, that's exactly all you got to do is just ask, and we'll try to give it to you. I'm sorry, I don't have the chat up right now for me to see, but normally I do. And so, you know, part of IGL is definitely increasing the quality and increasing the experience, or providing a better experience for viewers. So don't be shy about saying, hey, you know, we want this, and talk about the casters, tweet it out, you know, if you're enjoying a certain person. And you know, we're going to continue to try to grow our staff and get more people in here. And we are going to have action, though, as Artemis comes in. The ultimate is out. Sobek's going to turn around as Thor goes in the air to avoid the AK ult. However, on her taking down very low. Both leaps coming out. There's the Ra ult to get the kill as Jerby takes him out. The immunity coming out here, but it is not going to be enough as Guan Yu gets taken out just barely. And now it looks like we might have a bit of a chase. No, it ends up not being a chase. Use the immunity, but it kind of makes you a sitting duck for multiple spells there. So Lassus is going to get taken out. And
you know, that trade definitely goes in favor of Curse here, too. I mean, on her and Guan Yu trading for Artemis and Wukong, basically picking up both of the carries for carry and a support, certainly in favor of Curse as well. And considering they're already in the lead, that will allow basically Pon Pon now to get, you know, even more ahead. He's just recalled, and he's gonna start getting back out here and get that experience and gold rolling before Xing and Lassus are able to at all. Zapman will be up before them as well, but of course that's just when he fell in the team fight. And just kind of as well, the chat is requesting even more scaling on your map there.
Even more, no problem. I will bump it up there. All
But
right.
a really solid engagement there for Curse. They are able to, net basically 2 carry kills. We do have that Warlock Sash finish on Alquan, going to work toward Gem of Isolation. Nothing really non-standard there. It's going to be a Magi's Blessing coming out as third item onto Thor to deal with those hides in the Nemean line. Of course, the change in this patch made it such that they will be dealing magic damage now and not physical damage on that return. Basically, the thinking there from our developers being that it wasn't really in the spirit of the item that you could buy a Void Blade and deal extra damage and counter that. I think was the general consensus that I heard. We have a Deathbringer coming out 4th item from Artemis, so rushing that a bit. Jotun's Wrath is going to be worked on here for Wukong. Of course, this item now giving physical protection on top of the mana and power that it yielded. Very solid for Wukong, who is an ability-based god. Penetration very nice for him, especially being the flat 10 that Jotun's Wrath will give him. Mid lane, we do have, looks like a little bit of initiation, perhaps, as Xing is backing off, throwing in those auto attacks on the Pon. Pon going to be forced to retreat. The Alchemy ultimate continues to be channeled there. He's going to avoid the damage of the Aegis Amulet, and that should be the end of the initiation for the moment as the teams rotate over.
Yeah, it was really close. Thor did take the damage there a little bit, but it ends up not being too bad, and is going to be able to stay there, as it looks like we might have another engagement. Maybe there's a lot of spells out, only a few ultimates used, but they were all used on the side of Root. So Curse Gaming does have all 5 ultimates, so this could be very interesting to see if they do engage here. As I have another lag spike, unfortunately. Oh no.
I will take the team fight then here. We do have the initiation coming out from the Odin. He's ringed in Pon and Bess. Pon, of course, will ult out of there with the Thor. Where will he come back down? The Boulder is out from Hercules as well. Trying to go into the back of the fight and pick off Xing is Pon. We'll see if he's able to actually get that. Zatman's going to be forced to leap out. Pon does pick up Xing. Zatman falls as well to Lassus there as he tries to get away. The Furious Monkey bouncing does pick him up. Now, Bess throwing some damage on the Lassus. Overhead Smash just to clear some minions. Pon in there with that spin to win on top of Pressheart. The ultimate comes out from Alquang, not going to be enough, taking a lot of damage now from that Mjolnir's attunement was the Ra as well. This could be the disengage. Lassus looks like he wants to continue in with some damage, just going to be an overhead smash, and then he will fall back. And ultimately a 1-for-1 trade of carries there as Root once again gets out very, very low with the Odin and Sobek. And really Odin just not that effective against Thor, as we've seen. He keeps on ringing him in, but they're unable to secure him.
Yeah, and I unfortunately have not come back. I am, I think, completely lagging out.